Peace, this is part 5 and the last video in my Truth About Radiation series. So far we have accomplished several things. We have discussed what radiation is and identified the FCC's misinformation on the health effects from non-ionizing radiation. We have also disclosed pathways in which non-ionizing radiation can cause biological harm through non-thermal means. And through an examination of the CIA's past mind control experiments using electromagnetic energy, we have identified a possible diabolical use for 5G technology. In this video, I will list some ways to mitigate the potential damage from radiation and the multitude of environmental hazards our bodies are subjected to in this current day and age. We currently live in a world where there are many invisible traps for our health. There are toxins in the food, the water, and the air. Some toxins come from mismanaged cohabitation with the environment, and other toxins are from tactical weaponized assaults. In this book, Dr. Wesley Muhammad elucidates the tactical chemical assault that Black people in America are under. A proper diet that sufficiently provides our bodies with the vital nutrients that they need is a critical protection against radiation and the chemical assault we are under. With radiation, we do want to limit our exposure as much as possible, and in some cases, the best practice may be to physically shield against it, but the diet is a critical first step in our body's natural ability to defend and repair. So let us begin with a superfood called the navy bean. Before I begin, I acknowledge that many foods nowadays are being called superfoods and are considered magical cures for everything. However, in reality, some foods do excel others and are extremely good for human consumption, especially based on what our bodies have to contend with in the world we are currently living in. My analysis on the navy bean will be purely factual. In my studies, I have found several different biological mechanisms in which the navy beans protect the body through nutrition. The navy bean is a good source of the following essential trace minerals and other key biological building blocks. These include iron, zinc, iodine, magnesium, proteins, fiber, folate, calcium, tryptophan, phosphatidylserine, and others. So let us begin with iodine. The thyroid gland uses nearly all of the iodine in the body. Iodine is necessary for the proper function of the gland, and the thyroid uses it to make hormones. The navy bean providing iodine helps the body fight against nuclear radiation. Nuclear fission produces a radioactive form of iodine-131. This radioactive iodine can then bind to the natural iodine receptors on the thyroid. This can kill thyroid cells and lead to thyroid cancer. However, consuming a sufficient amount of natural iodine can prevent this. Navy beans are a good source of non-radioactive iodine. As a bonus, iodine also helps flush fluoride out of your system. Navy beans are also a very good source of tryptophan. Tryptophan is a very critical essential amino acid. Essential amino acids are amino acids which cannot be made by the body, therefore they must come from the food that we eat. Tryptophan is the precursor to several extremely vital biochemicals previously discussed in part 2 of this series, which include the neurotransmitter serotonin and the neurohormone and potent antioxidant melatonin. Tryptophan is also fundamental in the building of the microtubules in the cytoskeleton of neurons. One way in which radiation can damage the body is by producing free radicals. Another biological way the navy bean helps fight radiation indirectly is that navy beans are a great source of the essential amino acid tryptophan. As I discussed in part 2, antioxidants such as melatonin provide healing and restoration to the body. They serve as free radical scavengers. Thus, the navy bean helps absorb radiation by providing tryptophan, the precursor to the natural antioxidant melatonin. The next way in which navy beans help mitigate the damage of radiation is through the phospholipids that they provide. Phospholipids are a class of lipids that are a major component of all cell membranes. Also, as previously mentioned in part 2, one of the dangers of non-ionizing radiation was the chronic induction of heat shock proteins, and how this chronic release of heat shock proteins interferes with the body's ability to properly perform apoptosis. Phosphatidylserine is an extremely important phospholipid that is an essential component of the cell membrane. It plays a key role in cell cycle signaling, specifically in relation to apoptosis. Phosphatidylserine comes from various sources, including plants and animals. However, the plant and animal sources differ in fatty acid composition. Plants and dairy provide only a small amount of phosphatidylserine, with the exception of white beans and soy lecithin. As human beings, we can consume meat, but it is not the best for us. But the good news is, in this case, navy beans actually provide a viable alternative. Navy beans and other white beans provide the highest amount of plant-based phosphatidylserine. Radiation can cause damage by the chronic induction of heat shock proteins in cells, which interfere with the proper functioning of apoptosis. However, the navy bean provides an opposite effect by providing phospholipids that directly assist in the process of apoptosis. So as I covered in part 2, some of the symptoms of non-ionizing radiation was the suppression of melatonin production through the pineal gland and the chronic induction of heat shock proteins, which prevented apoptosis. Through tryptophan, the navy bean provides the building blocks for the eventual melatonin production, and through phosphatidylserine, the navy bean plays a direct role in apoptosis. Phosphatidylserine also assists in the proper functioning of the brain. Thus, studies have shown that phosphatidylserine helps in improving the symptoms of many cognitive diseases. The navy bean continues to be a superfood by providing the body with both macro and trace minerals. Macro minerals are minerals that you need in quantities greater than 100 milligrams per day and make up about 1% of your body's total weight. These include sodium, chlorine, potassium, phosphorus, magnesium, and calcium. Trace minerals are elements that are needed in smaller amounts. Trace minerals are inorganic matter that cannot be destroyed by cooking or heat and are essential to the body for a variety of processes. The macro minerals that navy beans provide are potassium, magnesium, calcium, and phosphorus. Potassium is an extremely important electrolyte involved in nerve transmission and the contraction of all muscles, including the heart. Magnesium is a cofactor in more than 300 enzyme systems that regulate diverse biochemical reactions in the body. Magnesium is required for energy production, oxidative phosphorylation, and glycolysis. It contributes to the structural development of bone and is required for the synthesis of DNA, RNA, and the antioxidant glutathione. Magnesium also plays a role in the active transport of calcium and potassium ions across cell membranes. This process is important to nerve impulse conduction, muscle contraction, and normal heart rhythm. A large amount of people are deficient in magnesium as a result of modern agricultural methods. Calcium and phosphorus are two of the most important elements in the body. Both are absorbed into the blood through the small intestines after eating foods that contain the nutrients. The minerals are found in the bone, blood, and soft tissue of the body and have many different functions within the body. 85% of the body's phosphorus and 99% of the calcium are found in the bones. Navy beans provide a good balance of both. Navy beans also provide a balanced dose of trace minerals. Navy beans contain zinc, copper, manganese, and iron. Zinc is part of every living cell and is one of the most important trace minerals. More than 75 enzymes contain zinc. Zinc is a functional component in over 200 enzymatic reactions in our bodies. It is required for DNA synthesis, protein synthesis, and collagen formation. Zinc is also critical to cell division and for the structural and normal functioning of cell membranes. Zinc is one of the most important nutrients for the immune system and resistance to infection. Zinc is a necessary component in the formation of several antioxidants produced within the body. One of those antioxidants is superoxide dismutase. It is an oxidative enzyme found in every cell in your body. It disarms the free radicals produced within the mitochondria. Zinc is critical for antioxidant defense in that it is a structural component of the enzyme superoxide dismutase. Glutathione is another important antioxidant. It is capable of preventing damage to important cellular components caused by reactive oxygen species such as free radicals and heavy metals. It is one of the major endogenous antioxidants produced by cells, participating directly in the neutralization of free radicals. Zinc is an important cofactor necessary for the production of glutathione. Navy beans are also a good source of iron. Iron deficiency is the cause of anemia. A lot of women are iron deficient because they lose blood during their menstrual cycle and do not obtain the necessary amount that their bodies need in return from the unnatural food that we eat that is depleted of nutrients. Iron is needed in the blood because it is an integral component of hemoglobin. Hemoglobin is the protein molecule in red blood cells that carries oxygen from the lungs to the body's tissue and returns carbon dioxide from the tissue back to the lungs. Hemoglobin synthesis also relies on copper. Without copper, iron cannot be properly utilized in red blood cells. Navy beans provide both copper and iron. Along with the macro and trace minerals that navy beans provide, they are also a good source of protein, and the beans provide folate and fiber. Folate consumption is beneficial because it improves overall heart health by lowering homocysteine levels. Folate also directs cytosine towards glutathione production. Navy beans are also an excellent source of cholesterol-lowering fiber. High fiber content prevents blood sugar levels from rising rapidly after a meal, which makes it ideal for diabetics. The next type of food that we will analyze is cruciferous vegetables. But first, let's begin our analysis with the hormone estrogen. Estrogen is one of the three sex hormones along with androgens and progesterone. Estrogen is produced or biosynthesized from testosterone by the enzyme aromatase. Estrogen exists in both men and women. However, it is present in women in significantly higher amounts. Estrogen is crucial to the function of the reproductive system in women. One of estrogen's primary functions is to play a key role in the growth and development of female characteristics and breast cell proliferation and division. The ovaries are the main location for endogenous estrogen production. Hormone balance is essential to nearly all functions in the body. One of the more common hormone imbalances for both men and women today is estrogen dominance, where there is too much estrogen in relation to the other sex hormones. Hormone imbalance can lead to numerous problems and diseases, including cancer. The primary reason for estrogen dominance being so common today is because of the prevalence of non-natural environmental estrogens that we come into contact with. These are known as xenoestrogens. Xeno or foreign estrogens come from over 70,000 registered chemicals for use in the United States. Byproducts of plastic and pesticide industries are one of the largest sources. Xenoestrogens are found in pesticides, herbicides, plastic goods, nail polish removers, and many creams and cosmetics. Anything with the following chemicals has xenoestrogens. Estrogen stimulates particular tissues to grow. When left unchecked or when our bodies are overloaded with all these environmental xenoestrogens, they can lead to cancer due to uncontrolled estrogen-stimulated cell proliferation. There are many studies linking excessive estrogen levels with cancer in estrogen-sensitive tissue, for example, breast cancer. However, the proper diet comes to the aid again. Cruciferous vegetables are a family of plants including broccoli, cabbage, cauliflower, and others. Cruciferous vegetables are specifically beneficial in countering the detrimental effects of excess estrogen dominance because cruciferous vegetables are rich in dietary sources of indole-3 carbinol. Indole-3 carbinol is a negative regulator of estrogen. Estrogen causes cell proliferation, and indole-3 carbinol causes growth arrest. Indole-3 carbinol blocks the effects of estrogen and helps remove it from the body. Studies have shown an inverse association with consumption of broccoli and breast cancer in pre-menopausal women. A component of indole-3 carbinol is diindolylmethane, also known as DIM. DIM helps to balance out hormone levels by stopping the conversion of testosterone to estrogen by blocking the enzyme aromatase. Nowadays, because of all the xenoestrogens, many men suffer from low testosterone levels and high estrogen levels. Along with causing breast cancer in women, some studies now believe that estrogen may play a developmental role in prostate cancer in men. Some of the best ways to naturally produce testosterone for men is to intake zinc, magnesium, and vitamin D. As previously mentioned, a great source of zinc and magnesium are navy beans. The best way to naturally get vitamin D is from the sun. In the modern day we are living in, we have many traps and environmental hazards that pose a serious threat to our health, both from radiation, chemicals, and fake food. A proper diet and lifestyle is the first stage of protection. Intaking the proper food is essential, and staying away from toxic food is just as important. However, unknown to most, eating at the right time is also extremely critical and underrated. Even though the information has been around for a long time, scientists are just now coming around to the concept of intermittent fasting. Intermittent fasting is an eating pattern where you cycle between eating periods and fasting. The benefits of this are numerous and extraordinary. And this brings us to the climax of this video, where I want to redirect you to the source of this knowledge and the scientist who published a book in 1967 which encapsulates all of this information and more. The Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad wrote the book How to Eat to Live, Volumes 1 and 2. In these books written long ago, he details a survival guide for all of us in the dietary and lifestyle guidance that he gives in the book. In the book, he prescribes the navy bean as a great food to eat and specifically informs about its protective abilities against radiation. He also specifically encouraged the eating of cruciferous vegetables and teaches which are best. But most noteworthy is his guidance on eating 1 meal per day. Intermittent fasting is now one of the hottest diets out there, with numerous scientific data sets providing the health benefits. The Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad has been prescribing those who will listen to adhere to fasting diets since the 1930s. What I have uncovered in this video is just the tip of the iceberg of the wisdom in the book, and I give no higher recommendation to anyone who is interested in their health. We must eat the proper foods at the proper time. Eating 1 meal a day is just a start. In reality, we can extend the fast to 1 meal every 2 days and beyond. If you want to find out more, you can purchase the book at store.finalcall.com. Thank you for watching this Truth About Radiation series. Please share these videos and pass this information along. If you enjoyed it, leave a like, and if you're interested in more, subscribe.